to Let's Chat, the Tennessee Valley's premier show focusing on lifestyle and entertainment with Jess Raby and Chip Chapman, bringing you smart shopping tips, community events, and the newest trends. Now, let's chat.
Good morning, and thank you for continuing to stay with us here on this very active Monday. It is April 13th. Cable Evans sitting in for Jess Raby. Jess is a victim of no internet.
It's happening to a lot of folks right now. There are currently, or there were a couple of hours ago, 60,000 people, EPB reported, that were without power at this hour.
And it's not just EPB customers. It also extends down into northern Alabama and especially down in North Georgia. There's a quick look at the map, but as Kay mentioned, 60,000 people without power. And it's not something that will be totally resolved in one day or maybe even 2 days.
Absolutely. It's also extending to Cleveland, North Georgia, Polk County, McMinn County, Tryon, Georgia. It's everywhere, folks. Lots of people, thousands of people currently right now without power.
There's a lot we don't know about this situation, just to be candid, but there's a lot we do know, and we do know that this outbreak that happened just a few hours ago has surpassed the April 2011 outbreak. And it's on par to surpass the outbreak we had back in 1997, also on Easter weekend.
Absolutely. Some of these folks that were hit so hard, like in East Brainerd, they were also hit in 1997. We're going to show you some of those pictures in just a moment. Right now, we're going to tell you about what happened on Battlefield Parkway. This is in Fort Oglethorpe, Georgia. They had devastating damage last night from the storms. Sherwin-Williams paint store collapsed. Windows at the McDonald's were shattered. They were taken, of course, that was during the nighttime hours there, and now you're seeing what it looks like during the day. At
least 8 businesses along this particular stretch of Battlefield Parkway suffered extensive damage. An apartment complex there also had severe flooding, and that's one of the elements that we will have to deal with for the next couple of days. The officials are currently checking the damaged sites on what they are calling a rescue and recovery mission, which is exactly what it sounds like.
Absolutely. Also in East Brainerd, we were talking about them earlier. They were so heavily hit last night. These are parts of our viewing area, of course, and Chattanooga Police and the Chattanooga Fire Department concentrated their efforts to that Jenkins Road and Standifer Gap area. Those roads have been closed off while police continue to work to make sure everyone is safe and accounted for. We told you about Grace Baptist Academy, how devastated the school is. A lot of damage there. In fact, so much damage, they were supposed to have their command center, Chattanooga Police Department, Hamilton County EMS, they were all going to meet there at Grace Baptist, but decided to move it to the YMCA that is also on that road because it was so damaged from these storms.
A little bit later in the broadcast, we'll be talking with longtime friend and broadcast colleague Gary Mack. Gary, of course, now with Hospice of Chattanooga. His mother was one whose home was totally destroyed by the tornadoes last night just off of Igo Gap Road. She is 93 years old, and the story you will hear, it'll send a shiver up your spine.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're also talking about Shallowford Road. Really, that whole area right there was devastated by those storms. There was trees down and damage to so many neighborhoods. Firefighters and rescue crews were actually out on ATVs overnight trying to get people out of some of these homes because there was so much damage trying to get to them.
And in many areas, they were going door to door and knocking just to make sure everyone was inside, safe, and accounted for. Our thanks to the many first responders, regardless of their jurisdiction. They all came together, as they do in situations like this, and made sure that as many people in our community were safe. Those that needed medical attention got it, and got it promptly. At last count, 14 people had been taken to area hospitals.
I believe it's more than that now.
I'm sure it has, and it'll probably continue to increase. East Brainerd, of course, seems to be a big target when we have tornado outbreaks here. Both of those areas suffered extensive damage, both in 2011 and back in 1997. Ooltewah, Collegedale, same sort of story. They were also severely hit by the storms, and we got to capture some of this video of some of the downtown areas in Ooltewah and Collegedale both. A postal official tells us there are trees down throughout this area. He says the power is out at the post office as well as everything north of the railroad bridge.
A lot of devastation in North Georgia. We talked about Murray County as well.
5 people lost their lives. No word yet on the number of injuries, but 5 confirmed fatalities in Murray County. A few minutes ago, I spoke with Tim Hennon, and of course, Tim owns Hennon Steakhouse on Riverfront Parkway, Greyfriars. Tim has been a restaurateur around town for a long time. Many of us have been to Bones Smokehouse. We've had them here on the show.
Absolutely.
Bones Smokehouse totally destroyed by the tornadoes. And Tim said they had a catering truck and one other vehicle that were both moved in the neighborhood of 30 plus feet before the building was destroyed. That's also in the same complex where Goodwill is located. Right. The back half of their roof
heavily damaged.
Gone.
Yes.
Gone. It's just amazing. And until we get into a little more daylight and we have a better chance to explore more of the area, we're not really sure of the extent of these damages, but they will be high.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt about that. A little bit later on this half hour, as a matter of fact, on the other side of this commercial break, we're going to be talking with Taylor Bishop. Taylor's out on the roads. We'll get an update from her. Amy Maxwell with Hamilton County Emergency Service will be joining us for the latest update from the official sources. And I mentioned Gary Mack a moment ago. He'll be with us as well.
You don't want to miss that story.
Keep it here for more Let's Chat.